Well, hello there, sixth grade. I know this is really not how we normally meet, but hey, we're just going to go with it. I hope everybody's doing well and hope everybody's staying safe and keeping that coronavirus away from you. But hey, we're going to make it. We're going to be just fine. So I say we just go ahead and get into it and let's talk about our next topic, which is ancient Greece. I think you guys are really going to like this. We're going to specifically focus on the rise of Greek cities. And we're going to move from the fall of Egypt, and we're really going to see how Greece comes into power after Egypt. So here we go, the rise of Greek cities. Just to kind of give you an idea of where Greece is located, it is in southern Europe. So if you know your continents, you go to Europe right there next to Asia, and then once you get to Europe, you go down south, and eventually you'll find Greece. Some of these cities, at least one that most of you have probably heard of, is Sparta. Yeah, we've all heard of Sparta. Moving on, your next heading here, a Greek polis. By about 700 BC, like I just mentioned a few moments ago, Egypt has lost its power. I mean, it's still there, but not nearly as powerful as it used to be. And we start to see the rise of Greece. They really start taking over in that area. And then when I say polis, what I mean is a city-state in ancient Greece. Hey, a Greek polis. An acropolis is a large hill where city residents would seek shelter if there was a war going on or if they wanted to come together to make a decision on something. In Greece, you had a democracy for the most part. We also have the vocab term an agora. It's an area in Greece used as a marketplace. Maybe you've seen pictures, or if you've watched movies, you've seen it where they have the marketplace. They have everything set up and you can walk around and buy and sell goods. And then our next term is a citizen. Hopefully we're familiar with that term, just like we talked about with ancient Egypt. A citizen is someone who has certain rights, authority, and responsibility compared to a slave who has zero power, zero responsibility and authority. And just some images to show you guys. Again, you know that if it's a picture, you don't have to write it. So don't start drawing these pictures because that would be really difficult. That would be hard even for me to do. So I just wanted to show you some pictures. Now, again, these are older paintings, so they're not going to look nearly as good. And I had to blow them up a little bit so that you could see them. But just to give you an idea of the architecture they had, Greece was very well known for their architecture. Another neat thing, and this is your next heading, the Greek alphabet. Believe it or not, you might have heard of some of these before. If you've ever heard of a fraternity or a sorority, such as Alpha, Beta, Gamma, you've heard of those. Those are from the Greek alphabet. It had 24 letters, and it stood for different sounds, and they're still used today. We're going to go ahead and move on to developing governments, and you might be wondering, why are you going so fast, Mr. B? You can always go back. You can pause this. You can write these notes down. You also have a paper copy as well, so don't think that you have to write it down that fast. I only have 5 minutes to use the app that I'm using on here, so I've got to move very quickly. So developing governments is our next heading. An oligarchy is a type of government in which a small group of citizens control decision-making. Now, eventually, Greece moves on to a democracy where everyone has a decision in it, but in the beginning, you have where just your upper class make those decisions. And then a monarchy is where you have a king or queen or one supreme ruler, and they kind of make those decisions. And the two major cities in Greece were Sparta and Athens. So again, just to show you, I won't say Sparta again like that. It's just Sparta right there. And Athens up north from Sparta. Hey, let's talk about Sparta a little bit because all the boys in the class always want to hear about Sparta. But believe it or not, Sparta had a lot more slaves than the other city-states. They were conquerors, and just about every man there was trained to be a soldier. Sometimes there was as many as 7 slaves for every 1 Spartan. So you have a ratio of 7 to 1. There's your brief math lesson. Ratio is 7 to 1. So for every 7 slaves, you have 1 Spartan. But there's a good chance that Spartan could take care of those 7 slaves. Sparta, let's get into Sparta a little bit here. Ignore page 126. We're not going to go there. That's not part of your heading. So as far as them being a warrior city and a warrior people, records show that boys and girls in Sparta started training from anywhere to the age of 7 to 8. Some records even younger than that. They spent more time training to become soldiers than they did learning academics. So wouldn't it be cool if we could, go to PE and have, spear class or shield class? That probably wouldn't end well. But anyway, the girls practice running, throwing spears, and playing ball games. So don't think the girls were just, learning how to, knit and take care of the house, things like that. No, the girls were trained to be soldiers as well, to defend themselves. And they wanted them to be strong. So you want to have strong women in your household. The man still led the household, but they wanted the females to be strong as well. All right, and we're going to go ahead and stop here for today with the ancient city of Athens. Athens, their government was an oligarchy, which means you have a few upper class that make the decisions. Athens was ruled by a few, but the poor citizens began uprising, complaining because they weren't allowed to have their say-so. So eventually you have what's called a democracy, which you're probably familiar with, which is the rule by the people. Citizens vote to make decisions on issues. Now, a pure democracy is where every decision is voted on. Not like here in the United States. We are a constitutional republic. So it's not just majority vote on everything. We don't have that. And we're going to go ahead and stop here for today. Again, you can pause this if you need to. You can go back. Don't think you have to write these down exactly, as I'm saying it. I don't expect you to do that. Hey, go back, write it down. You also have a paper copy, so make sure you get at least the first 3 to 6 slides on this done. I would just go ahead and get the first 6 done. And then on Friday, we'll go ahead and move on to the other 6. We'll go ahead and finish this up, and then we'll just discuss it a little bit. So just keep working hard, get these notes, make sure you have them all done by Monday, and then we'll talk some more about ancient Greece. Thank you, guys.